Today, Communist China's President Xi Jinping rolled out the red carpet. He officially welcomed Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi to Beijing. The two nations, China and Iran, are determined to strengthen their ties with each other. Chinese state media reporting President Xi is looking to resolve Iran's nuclear negotiations with the U.S. Now, back in 2015, Iran and the U.S. signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The JCPOA is a nuclear agreement that its supporters hope would limit Iran's nuclear stockpile and aspirations. Back in 2018, former President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the deal. And since assuming office in January 2021, President Biden has repeatedly tried to revive negotiations. But Iran has shown no interest in coming back to the table, at least not until the UN nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, closes its investigation on Iran's past unexplained nuclear activity. Meanwhile, also during their meeting, President Xi expressed a willingness to deepen cooperation with Iran through China's Belt and Road Initiative. China hopes to achieve this by importing more high-quality Iranian agricultural products. President Raisi will remain in China until Thursday, and today, the entire U.S. Senate received a briefing about 3 unidentified objects shot down by the U.S. military. The first object was shot down Friday 10 miles off the frozen coast of Alaska. The second object was shot down in northern Canada on Saturday. It's about 100 miles from the U.S.-Canada border. And the third object was shot down on Sunday after crossing over the Upper Peninsula in Michigan near Lake Huron. What are senators saying after the briefing? Congressional correspondent Kilmeny Ducart is live from Capitol Hill with the latest. Kilmeny?
Good evening, Greta. Republican Senator Marco Rubio says the flying objects are not a new phenomenon. What is new is the fact that the U.S. for the first time shot one down in 65 years.
Everyone's acting like this is the first time we've ever seen these things, and so we reacted that way. No, it isn't. We've had hundreds and hundreds of cases reported by military personnel. We've been talking about it for years. And there's a process now that's been set up to analyze these, and this data should be a part of that process immediately, not a year from now, not 6 months from now, right away, so we can cross-compare it to those previous instances and maybe begin to get some answers faster than we would otherwise.
Republican Senator Mike Braun telling me there's been some discussions that it could be commercial, not governmental, but in terms of the spy balloon, it would be difficult to know what information may have been compromised.
For all the money we spend on intel and defense, to be embarrassed in this fashion to where no one really knows how long it's been occurring, how it happened, or yet what it's about. I think there'll be enough stuff that we glean from what we've recovered to maybe get some of that information. And sadly, a lot of it we may never know, and we don't know what kind of information's been absorbed along the way.
Democratic Senator Mark Warner, who chairs the Senate Intel Committee, telling reporters the incidents raise larger questions about U.S. technology and security protocols.
My hope would be that we are much more aggressive about trying to make sure that objects that are up there for legitimate scientific, weather or other purposes, that there is a much better notification process with authorities.
Greta, the House is out of session this week. The Senate will continue to focus on China with another hearing on countering Beijing set for tomorrow.
Kilmeny Ducart, thank you. Florida Republican and member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Brian Mast, joins me. Good evening, sir. And you're not in session this week, but have you gotten any briefings? You're on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, but have you gotten any separate briefings about what those objects are?
The House of Representatives as a whole had the opportunity to be briefed today, verbally, not by video, not in person, but by audio and by a number of members, people in the Pentagon at varying levels.
And were you part of that? And I mean, the thing that I find sort of curious is that there's a suggestion that this was the objects, the 3 objects that were shot down recently, not the first spy balloon, but may have been a commercial, not a government-sponsored object in the air. Do you have any information about that at all?
So number one, yes, I was a part of it. I made sure to attend that briefing, as I try to attend every briefing I can on any issue. I think it's part of the due diligence of the work we're given the responsibility to do on behalf of we the people. But to be specific on the balloons and talk about those, There are spy balloons, and we know for a fact that the balloon that was originally shot down some 200 feet high, 90 feet across, that was in fact a spy balloon. There are weather balloons. There are other balloons that are put up by academia, some of them flying at 60, 70,000 feet, some of them flying at 20, 30,000 feet. And these balloons have been flying in various altitudes. That is also a fact. The three questions that I would want answered about this, if I could find those answers: number one, was it just surveillance? That is to say, were we just being observed to see whatever an entity could see? Or was it reconnaissance, in that they were looking for a specific answer to a specific question? Third question that I would want answered would be this: what was the intelligence that they gleaned from whatever they observed? I could certainly say one thing that they gleaned from it would be that the U.S. has gaps. We've spent a lot of time looking for ICBMs and looking at commercial air traffic. And if it wasn't meeting those parameters of altitude and speed, then those other items might have been filtered out from being looked at.
All right, well, here's a question I have. Is if these are commercial objects and not state-run, it's not China or something, I'm going to be very angry with the companies that they haven't come forward, at least made themselves known publicly. And don't tell me they don't notice it, because all of a sudden, if you're in a research group and all of a sudden your weather balloon has gone down, I think you know about it. I think you know it's gone. And I think that they do have a duty to us, because the government is not being particularly forthcoming and transparent. So let me add to that is that Senator Rubio said 99% of what the briefing was is not national security. Would you put that number at 99%?
I think I would quantify it in this way.
Or 90. I guess it was 90. I'm told it was 90, I guess.
Whatever the number is, you can't say that everything justified by what we know as a national security threat, because it's not known whether something, we know the one was a spy balloon, but it's not known what the others were at this point. Was it academia? Was it meteorology? Was it a UFO? Those facts are not being given at this point. So you move from there and you ask another question: were they weaponized?
Wouldn't you think, though,
at this point,
if it's academia, if it were academia, if it was as University of Wisconsin or something, wouldn't you think University of Wisconsin would come forward and say that was ours? And if it's if it's a meteorology group, that was mine or something? Wouldn't you expect that there would be taking some ownership of it at this point? What's the big secret? We're going to find out anyway.
Right, the questions go beyond that to say what makes it look more nefarious than something else, right? If something is flying in the airspace of commercial aircraft, then it has to have certain lighting. It has to be putting out certain signals, because if it's moving at the speed of wind versus the speed of a jetliner, that's a very dangerous situation. And you would think academia putting something up into those altitudes would know that, or a meteorology entity would know those kind of things, and they would be signaling appropriately. If that's not the case, then it certainly appears more nefarious.
And let me get back to the question. 90%. Would you say 60% was not a national security, and we should be told 60% of what you were told today?
Yeah. So again, I just have to quantify it in this way. All of them can pose a national security threat. We haven't been given information that these things were weaponized or that they were looking to answer specific questions through reconnaissance. Is it off? Absolutely, yes. Should we be worried about the gaps that we now see exist? Absolutely, yes. But I can't sit there and answer that other question in a percentage. I would just be giving you an answer that has no basis in reality for me.
Congressman Brian Mast, thank you, sir. Hope you come back.
All the best.